Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop quick tip. Today we've got a fun one, easy one. Some of our people have written in and asked how to make custom YouTube thumbnails. A lot of people, we know we go to YouTube a lot, and a lot of us are opening up our own little YouTube channels, and we're producing content of some kind, and they wanted to make custom thumbnails like they see on YouTube. So basically I just dragged this over here, and you can see they're looking for these type of YouTube thumbnails. Now it isn't very important, okay, because this is what determines whether somebody will click on your video or not. The law of attractions, advertising, right? So forth. So a lot of people I've been finding out that actually pay somebody to do this for them, and it's very, very easy to do. And so let me go ahead and just show you. So the first thing you got to do is you got to have a concept for your thumbnail, and I got a basic concept, and so I picked this photo, and again, you could pick any photo you want to purvey your image, okay? And then I picked, let's say you can take a picture of yourself or someone else, right? So usually on YouTube, the more expressive the portrait, the better, right? It intrigues, it grabs eyeballs. So I selected this photo, okay? And we're going to take it, we're going to put these things together, and we're going to make a custom YouTube thumbnail. And I'm going to show you how easy it is. All right, so first thing I need to do, I need to open up a new document. So I'm going to go up to File, and then New. And then I'm going to go over to Film and Video across the top. Okay, and Film and Video, okay, is right here, HD. Okay, 1080p, that happens to be the exact dimensions and resolution that are needed for YouTube thumbnails. So we'll select that. So it's 1920 by 1080, 72 DPI, doesn't matter, and we're good to go. So I hit create, and it opens up a template, okay? And by default, it puts all these confusing guides. They're supposed to signify, the safe areas of where things are on a screen. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to View, and then I'm going to go to Guides, and I'm going to say Clear the Guides, because we don't need those. Okay, we don't need no stinking guides, right? All right, so we've got our correct resolution ratio for a YouTube thumbnail. Now all we got to do is start putting it together. So let's come into our background image, and using our Move tool, I'm going to drag it and take it up and take it down and drop it in. And it's way too big, not a problem. Okay, I'm going to hit Command and Control T, and then Command 0 so I can see where it is. You can see how much bigger that image is than the thumbnail. So we're going to have to do some sizing. So I'm going to grab it down here, and again, and it may not fit, or it may, okay, and that looks pretty good. Hit enter to do that. And so now we have our image on there, and now I got to take the subject that I'm going to put on that image, and I need to extract her from it. And luckily, this looks like it'll be an easy thing. Let's try Adobe's Select Subject, and I'm going to hit that. And Adobe's thinking. Oh, and that was terrible. All right, so let's deselect, Command and Control T, and let's try this again. Okay, that's much better. Don't know why Adobe had a misfit there, but I'm going to go to Select and Mask so I can take a really good look at the mask to make sure it's good. And come in and I can choose how I'm viewing it. I could choose it on black and white to see how the mask looks, how clean it is. And then remember, when we're dealing with masks, white reveals, black conceals. Okay? So if you always remember that little saying, you'll always be able to know what the mask is doing. So this mask is obviously selecting the girl, and that's what we want it to do. All right. So it actually looks very good, very clean. So I'm just going to accept it as it is. And now I'm going to come in here, and I'm not going to do any adjustments at all because it did such a great job. I'm going to come down to the output. All right. And I'm going to go to selection, and I'm going to pull down, and I'm going to say new layer with layer mask. Okay. So we'll select that, and then we're going to hit OK. And Photoshop's going to generate a layer with a layer mask isolating her. Okay. So it's perfect. So now we're going to take this layer, and we're going to use the move tool, and we are going to move into our new document and drop it in. We get a warning there's different depths in that, and we can see, wow, she's way too big, and we need again to transform it. So Command or Control T for free transform, and then because you don't see the handles, Command 0 to make you see the handles, and you can see how big that photo is on this. And then we're just going to size it down, and we make her not necessarily where the whole picture is going to fit, but we're making her to where it looks good in a thumbnail. Okay, so we just keep dragging a corner, and we move her and position her until we have what we like. And maybe right there is actually pretty good size right there, right? So I'll hit OK. And so Command and Control 0, and that let me take the whole look, and I'm thinking that's looking fantastic. Okay. The idea with a thumbnail is try to make it eye-catching, right? Grab a person's attention. And so that's what we're doing here. Okay, last thing that we need to do, again, is attention grabbing. When thumbnails are viewed on whether the phone or the browser, they're usually about this size. Okay? So whatever you're doing, you need to make sure that your thumbnail is effective at this size. And that to me means big print, big fonts, right? All right, so I'm going to go take the font thing here, and I'm going to select, and you can select whatever you wish, but one of my favorite is Rockwell Extra Bold, because I want the letters to be, very prominent. I want it to be able to stand out. Okay, next thing is my YouTube thumbnail has got to be eye-catching, and that's always done with selling aspects, right? We've all been sold to our whole life. So we got to make our title sell it. So we're going to say, what? What's Adobe hiding? Say that's pretty good. And now I'm going to highlight all the lines. I'm going to change the font to actually white. Okay, so that stands out a little better. And now I'm going to do some adjustments here. We're going to make the font bigger. So I'm still highlighted on the text. I can come up here to the control panel, and you can see I'm 172. I'm going to just drag the scrubbies and make this fit in even more. Okay. Now you notice things are getting all squished together. Okay. That's because we have to change our line spacing. Okay. But so We're going to do that in the next step. I'm just going to make the font the right size. Okay? And I'm going to say that's a pretty good thing. Now, we need to come up and go into our font character control. Okay? Now, if you don't see this, just go up to your window and then you can do your character control right there. Okay? It's all the same. Just like everything else in Photoshop, you can do everything 6 different ways. All right, so the character. So I've got my fonts. Now you notice right here where the double A's are on top of each other, that's your line spacing. So if I pull and scrubbing this down, I'm moving the fonts down. Okay? And I want to put some separation between them. And it helps the readability as well, right? So let's just try that for now. And we'll close that up and we'll click off the layer. And let's reposition it by selecting the Move tool and move that there. And that's looking pretty good. Okay, let's do a check on it to make sure that we're going to be effective on a small thumbnail. So let's view it. What's Adobe hiding? See, that works pretty good. It's almost good, right? But again, making things stand out is how you make an effective thumbnail. So I'm going to just double click on the T here on this layer for the font, and that highlights all the text. Now I'm going to highlight just the word Adobe. And now I'm going to come up to the color, and I'm going to select the color like this, okay? And that's going to cause it to stand out. Now, there's one thing wrong, okay? It's very flat, and it's not working together well. So I think this needs a drop shadow, okay? So on the text layer, I'm just going to come down to the FX panel, and then I'm going to choose drop shadow. Okay, select that, and now I can come in and make the drop shadow how I want it to be. Okay, how big, how small, the distance. And again, there's nothing wrong with taking your time, looking at it, seeing how it gets affected. See how I'm raising the letters off? Okay. The spread. Okay. The size. See, I can make very big impacts. And now it's standing off the paper a lot more. All right. Now you could be saying, okay, I'm not loving it, so maybe I'm going to change the headline. What's Adobe hiding? I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to hit another line. And from us. I added another line that went off. That's not a problem. I'm going to highlight and reposition things. And I'm going to highlight the whole thing again, and I'm going to just take the font down a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use the character thing, and I'm going to change the line spacing. And you notice I always love the going on to the scrubby sliders. I mean, I could pull down and select like that, but I always love the scrubbies. So I'm going to scrub my thing in here, and I'm just pulling it to the left, to the right, till it fits the way I want it. Okay. And that's looking pretty good. And you'll notice that I highlight to break it up, okay? I think I'm going to take hiding, and I'm going to make it stand out too. So I'm going to select the color plate, and I'm just going to click on the Adobe so they match. And hit OK. And let's see. What's Adobe hiding? Looks good. It looks good. So let's check it again. Now I'm not seeing, for some reason the red is not doing this, so maybe I'm going to put a stroke on it. All right. So I'm going to go down to the FX and I'm going to select stroke. And we can set the stroke to be anything that we wish it to be, or how big it is. Okay, like that. So that little stroke around each letter helps everything stand out, and I think that works very well. So what's Adobe hiding from us? I think that's working pretty good, but I'm going to add a couple question marks so that stands out. Okay. I think we have a pretty good YouTube custom thumbnail. And again, all it takes is for you to pick out a picture that you want to use for the background, another picture that you want to put on, hopefully a picture of a person with an expressive look, okay, and put some text, and then make sure that things stand out, okay, and that's how you do it. Now you just turn around and come up and save this as a JPEG. You can come up, save as, okay, or you can export. I use the Web Legacy. All right, I select that. By default, it will give you a JPEG, 80% quality, and the dimensions are very important, but because we started with the correct dimensions, we already have them, 1920 by 1080, and we just saved that, and boom, we've got our YouTube custom thumbnail ready to go. All we need to do is just upload it to YouTube, and you're off to the races. So that's it. Nice and easy. And again, it's all customizable fun for you. So you could do this any way you wish. This is just how I did it. Okay? You could even turn around and say, you know, this looks great, but I want to be more creative. Well, say maybe I want to have a black come in, and so let's see what you want to do. You want to come in with a black. I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to put a new layer in. So now I'm on a blank layer, and in black, I'm going to take the gradient tool, and I'm going to pull it out. And I could do it that way. Okay, it all depends on what your tastes are, what you want. Okay, now you can turn around and put a mask on this layer, and you can bring back some of the thing. So select black, take your paintbrush, and start removing things. Okay, see how I'm painting this in? Again, it's all about just making things to what you want. Again, your creativity is your limit. All right? I just realized I spelled hiding. Now, why didn't you guys tell me that? You should have told me, hey, look, you're hiding. All right. So there we go. So there is our YouTube custom thumbnail. So, creative, it's up to you. All right. Now remember, you may not want to make a custom tutu, but you can take these techniques and apply them to all kinds of things. So, all right, guys, that's it for me. I'll talk to you later.